have more people fully dependent on the current system, that's when they pull the rug. And that's when the new system will be instituted.
And those caught in between will be devastated.
Well, it's already devastating. People can't survive here. Personal debt, household debt, consumer debt, ballooning debt defaults. People can't pay back loans here. The banks are in so much trouble that it's not even funny. And that's another reason why President Trump has been calling for deregulation, deregulation, deregulation. Why he got Michelle Bowman in here as the watchdog for the Fed, deregulation, deregulation here. The banks have black hole balance sheets, and we're not even allowed to know that. We're not allowed to know which banks are going to fail. I think people need to get their cash out of the commercial banks, put their cash into a credit union. I think these have the best chances of surviving. But I do believe that there's going to be a sacrificial lamb here. I think Bank of America is being set up to fail. Number one, of course, again, they got to present this to the people. When the system fails, they need scapegoats. The scapegoats are being set up here. The scapegoat of Bank of America has been set up a while back. President Trump was told to push a particular agenda with regard to Bank of America. Bank of America's CEO, Brian Moynihan, is a conservative Republican. And they're trying to sell people the idea that this bank here is against conservative Republicans. You can't make that up either. Okay. But again, they got to set up the scapegoat and say, okay, everyone, look, that's what they did the last time with Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns and why we bailed them out. Okay, don't worry, people. You're going to bail out these institutions, but we're going to allow two of them to fail. They didn't really fail. What ended up happening with the collapse of Lehman Brothers and Bear was the other Wall Street institutions were able to buy the assets for pennies on the dollar. So all they did was get absorbed into the collective. Now, what's happening here with these banks here who have derivative, the major institutions, obviously the commercial banks, the investment banks, have derivative exposure that is beyond anyone's wildest dreams. That is obviously playing into what's going on here. And you've got, again, the mechanism here of bank deregulation, the Federal Reserve running the show, and we're going to be, of course, be forced to bail it all out yet again. And we're bailing it out right now. Everything that President Trump has done with regard to the financial system, the Federal Reserve and the banks, has done nothing but empower them. We're not taking their power away. We're making them much stronger. And who's paying for it? We are. But people can't see that either. It's incredible. It's really incredible.
So isn't that expanding the debt every time the government bails out the banks? Isn't that expanding the debt also?
Of course it is. Any mechanism, like, for example, a war we're seeing right now, a president, for example, calling for lower rates, it means the Federal Reserve gets to devalue the currency, which is their goal. For 10 years, I've been telling people that central banks are working to see which one of them can suck the purchasing power of their currency out faster. And they're laughing. They're laughing as the people suffer. We can't have, I don't understand how they can put this together. In order to have a strong, look, there are only two, and I mean this, and I urge people to look this up. In finance and economics, there are two fundamental truths. To have a strong economy, you need a strong currency. Does that sound about right? To have a strong currency, you need a corresponding rate of interest high enough to support the purchasing power of the currency. Those are the only two truths that exist, and there's only two in finance and economics. So when you hear a president say, we need a weaker dollar, we need lower rates, you have to understand that either they don't understand the only two fundamental truths that I just told you, or they're working against them because they want to destroy the economy. They want to destroy the middle class in favor of the corporate agenda, because the weaker dollar and, of course, lower rates, which weakens the dollar, is good to fulfill the corporate agenda. It also allows the central banks, in this case, the Federal Reserve, to inflate. Dude, this stuff is so easy to understand, but people don't look into it. It's unfortunate. And I urge people to always do their own research. I can't wait to see the comments that this video is going to get, dude. This is going to start a firestorm. Some of the stuff that we spoke about. And I know that's what you kind of, it's important. This is what we need to push people. I do it all the time. I deliberately push people. First of all, I don't want any weak links in my blog, and I'm sure you don't either here. It's not about how many people are following our work. It's about the right people who understand what's going on here and expect to be attacked. You're going to be attacked. I'm going to be attacked. And the more they attack us, the stronger we become. You understand? They can't attack the message. They're going to attack you and me personally. This is what they resort to these days here. It's an interesting thing. But it's good when they make these bad comments to you, to me, it only helps the algorithm. So I hope that a lot of them try to go after us, because if we're going to get all these bad comments, let them do it, because it helps us. It makes us stronger. Makes them weaker. It makes us stronger. That's why, again, we can't lose, bro. You and me, we've been on the same team. And that's why, look, I don't do too many interviews, as you probably know. You're one of the only other guys. I don't do a lot. I do this because first of all, my time is precious to me. I only want to associate with people who understand things to a higher level. And I think that you're one of them. And I think that the people that follow your work are as well. So together, we're getting stronger, bro. And we're making a positive difference in the world. And that's really all that matters to me.
That's my guy, Greg. Once again on the show, I want to thank Greg for everything. Greg, in closing, do you have anything to say to the people that are listening and that will listen later?
Whatever they're telling you, do the polar opposite, and you're going to be better off, man. I don't know what else to say, because we're being led down a very dangerous pathway. We're nothing but a means to an end, man. We're greasing the wheels with our blood and guts and hopes and dreams. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take it down. We'll take it back. It's just unfortunately taking the longer road, but we'll get there. We definitely will.
Greg, I'm going to send you the link to the video in a few minutes. Everybody, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me, for giving me your time, because you did not have to do this. And as I always say, do right by others, not because there's some material gain or some praise behind it. Do right by others because it's the right and the humane thing to do. And remember that if you love truth, I love you. But remember that the love that I have for you will always pale in comparison to the love that God has for you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true, but remember to always stay righteous. Hey, mama, your baby boy loves you more than life. And I thank you, Greg. We're out of here. Peace, everybody. Thank you so much.
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a